Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's webinar. We will get started in about 60 seconds. I'm just waiting for a few more people to log on. Most people are coming in now, but if you don't mind, we'll give them just a couple of minutes. If you can't hear me, seems like a silly thing to say, just message me in the corner. Or can somebody message me to confirm you can hear me? Yeah, thanks, Vin. Thanks, Andrea. We're loud and clear. If you don't mind, we'll just give them a couple more seconds. I'd like to include as many people as possible. That said, there will be a copy of the presentation sent to all attendees. So that's a recording which includes the slides and the voiceover. That'll come by the end of today. Fantastic. Okay, well let's get underway. So as you can see, and as you expected, I guess, today's topic is digital technologies increasing efficiency and reducing marketing costs. Today's webinar is sponsored by me and DQ Australia and the local government professionals. We'll run for about 45 minutes, or if I don't speak quickly enough, about an hour. And as I say, everybody will receive a copy of the presentation. My name's John Carlson. My background's in psychology, education and business. I'm a consumer behaviour specialist, and I've been advising all forms of organisations, including local government, for about 25 years all around the country. Today I want to touch on four related subjects. Digital automation, I want to define it, then look at marketing process automation, then look at marketing analytics automation, and finally touch on, although I won't go into a huge amount of detail, on machine learning in marketing. Okay, in most cases through this presentation, when I use the words either marketing or communication, I'll be using them interchangeably. I think that's very risky, of course, given that marketing is a lot more than just communication, but at least insofar as this presentation is concerned, the terms will be used interchangeably. I just wanted to start by looking at some statistics. I always feel more comfortable when we start with some numbers that give us some perspective on what's going on out there. About 51% of businesses, a recent survey found, are now using some form of marketing automation. 58% of businesses are intending to buy new automation software over the next 12 months, so it's gaining some currency. Expenditure on marketing automation is expected to grow by about 62% in 2020. And 91% of marketers surveyed say that marketing automation is very important to the success of their marketing campaigns. Interestingly, one survey found that 92% of small businesses are losing money by not automating. That's a pretty alarming number. So perhaps we can give you some tips to make sure that you're not one of the organisations, although most of you aren't small business, of course, losing money on automation. So let's start by defining what I mean by the broad subject of digital automation, or digital automation insofar as marketing is concerned. I've got a couple of definitions here offered by the geniuses out there. I'll just run through them first. Marketing automation is a type of software that allows companies to effectively target customers with automated marketing messages across channels including email, websites, social media, text messages, to generate sales leads. And I think that's a pretty good but perhaps limiting definition. Another one, HubSpot, who's has also developed a lot of marketing automation software. And in fact, if you when you're looking to buy marketing automation software, HubSpot, which you'll find online, is a good place to start. They have a lot of good software in this area. Marketing automation is all about using software to automate marketing activities. Marketing departments automate repetitive tasks, and I think that's a critical issue. A lot of it is about taking out repetitive tasks, such as email marketing, social media, posting, and even ad campaigns, not just for the sake of efficiency, but also to provide a more personalised experience. The two issues I think that are important there are, one is that marketing automation allows you to automate tasks you don't want to do. And in fact, tasks that people are better off not doing. It saves a lot of time and money, and we'll talk about that. Secondly, however, it does allow you to personalise things. So you can have Dear John emails, and you can have emails that are adjusted in terms of their content, or SMSs or texts that are adjusted in terms of their content, so that they read as if they're targeted and specifically for the individual that receives them. And one of the things we'll talk about as we go through this, but personalisation of marketing is one of the really big growth areas. About 68% of marketers say now that they're going to make their marketing or their communication, regardless of which the audience they're talking to, more personalised in the year ahead. And you know yourself, when you receive an email or a letter or anything else which says "Dear Sir" or "Madam," your attention fades a bit. When it calls you by name and then the first paragraph actually refers to something that you're actually interested in, that shows an understanding of you, then you're engaged much more strongly. And marketing automation software allows that to happen. This is my definition. I like short, sharp, and to the point definitions. It's an engagement, generally at low cost. Most marketing automation software doesn't cost much. To reduce costs, increase productivity, and facilitate better decision making. So by automating tasks, you can reduce the labour component, which will bring costs down. You can increase productivity by personalising, by tailoring the content more to the individual's concern, and you can generate data, and most automation software generates data, and that'll be a subject we discuss in the second part of this session today. Generates data which allows you to further tailor, further modify the campaign, and therefore make better decisions. So what I really want to talk about today is the use of software to minimise time and cost involved in repetitive marketing processes, which I'm calling here process automation. And secondly, we'll talk about maximising the quality of decision making, converting data into knowledge, gathering together all the data and then presenting it in a format which allows you to make decisions. So in broad brush terms, marketing automations addresses email marketing campaigns or email communication campaigns, or ongoing email. It doesn't have to be a campaign. It can just be an ongoing email program, a newsletter program, for example. Web intelligence that allows you to gather intelligence about what's happening on the web and use that to fine-tune your campaign. Lead scoring and nurturing marketing. It allows you to measure the value of a lead that might come in into the business through the website, through email, or through a landing page or whatever. It allows you to nurture leads, that is, and in your case, it's probably not leads, it's people who have made inquiries or people who have expressed interest, to keep talking to them on an ongoing basis without actually having to do it manually. These systems can do that in an automatic way. It can be applied to SMS messaging. You see with the bushfires and things like that, SMS messaging has been used, and that would be almost certainly automated. It wouldn't be done on a case-by-case basis. It allows campaign tracking, and that's where we talk about the analytics, but allows you to track the effectiveness of a campaign and work out what is and what is not working. It allows you to use forms and collect data from people that way, get them to fill in forms. It allows you to undertake surveys, very effective. SurveyMonkey being a great tool for undertaking surveys, and if you haven't looked at SurveyMonkey, you probably have, but if you haven't, have a look at it. And there's a few others like it, but just ideal for carrying out surveys on a very low cost basis. It can help you set up and manage landing pages specifically designed to address a particular topic that you're engaged with, or have an education program around, and gather the data from that page, again, to fine tune it. Social discovery, it allows you to get into social media and find out what's being said about you, what things you might respond to, and what you need to better understand about the conversations that are having about your council or about the issues that you're involved in. It facilitates event management. Things like Eventbrite is a fairly basic form of marketing automation, which allows for events to be booked. And of course, Eventbrite can be linked into other automation technologies so that there can be invitations to further events and the like. And it can be used to support training and the like. So there's a range of automation, as I'll talk about a bit later on. There's at the moment, about 100, maybe 120 marketing automation packages out there, and HubSpot is one of the vendors of these products. It can also involve machine learning or artificial intelligence. They are different concepts, but they'll be used pretty much interchangeably by me in this presentation. And insofar as marketing is concerned, they may as well be pretty much the same thing. They differ in production applications and the like. So where I see marketing automation working really well is with repetitive tasks, sending out regular notices or newsletters or emails, and you can track opening rates and readership rates and even the amount of time people spend on an email. A high traffic volume, we've got to do a lot of stuff. It's much easier to automate it than do it yourself. Where you need consistency, it needs to be done the same way each time, because obviously every time you engage a human being, you run the risk of diminishing the consistency of messaging. Nurturing, that is developing relationships and keeping an ongoing communication program happening. And we'll talk a bit about that as we go on. Cost savings, if you can automate a lot of processes, you can often involve a lot less people in the marketing communication process. Market identification, the data gathering in particular, but automation in general can help you identify who's responding to your marketing and where the greatest opportunities are. That relates again to demand identification. So what is the level of demand in each of the markets, and allows you to gather and process high volumes of data, something I'll come back to as we go along. Some of the common applications, and I'll go through some of these in detail in a moment, common applications of marketing automation: sending out welcome emails, reminder emails, anniversary emails, relationship management, that is sending out regular things which update people, educate people, inform people, and engage them without using human time to do it. Re-engagement campaigns where people have fallen off the edge of the world and you want to re-engage them. You have a database that you can work on. Surveys and feedback, a point that I've talked about, but I think things like SurveyMonkey and the application of SurveyMonkey within email campaigns is really effective, gathering information about people. Launches, updates, and follow-ups, whether it's by email, whether it's by SMS, whether it's by text. Again, this can be managed with a high level of personalisation. Digital advertising management, determining where you should be placing your digital advertising and how effective it is and how it's working. Social media management, gathering data on what's going on out there, even distributing your content to the right social media platforms. There's a number of packages that will help you determine which social media platforms you should be communicating to, enable you to produce the content once and then have it distributed to all of those social media platforms, and then monitor the response to that content. And website management. There's automation software, which we'll talk about, which can help you update your website, monitor the impact of your website, help you determine what is and is not working, and then fine-tune the presentation of your website. These are really, really powerful tools. And as I say, they're readily available and they're not that expensive. So let's just talk specifically now for a few minutes about marketing process automation. And this is Technology Advice's definition of that. Marketing automation software is often compared to customer relationship management software, as they have overlapping functionality, and they do. But CMS currently functions as a go-to platform for sales departments, whereas marketing automation platforms are built to scale and accelerate marketing efforts, while making each touch more personalised and more focused. And you see that issue of personalisation comes up again. It's about personalising content to the individual on the database. It's about focusing. It's about making sure the right message gets to the right person, and that's customisation, which is really important and really easy to do with some of these automation packages. And most automation packages fit in with relationship management programs, which tend to focus more on the sales side of things, whereas this tends to focus on the communication side of things. Salesforce, which of course produces a lot of marketing automation software and CRM software, defines marketing. It says marketing automation is technology that manages marketing processes, very much so, and multifunctional campaigns across channels automatically. Now, the two important things there, I think, are that the one piece of software can manage your email, your newsletters, your SMS, and even link in with your website and your social media. So it may not be a case of buying all these different automation softwares. And we'll talk about some that can, you can put the messaging in there and it can cover all of those different areas. And the second point, of course, is automation. Sorry, automatically. You can set the information distribution to a time and a format and just walk away. And you know that at 3 o'clock tomorrow, this message is going to go to these people. At 4 o'clock tomorrow, this message is going to go to these people. And 5 o'clock the next day, these messages are going to go to these people. And you will know that all of those messages are going to be customized, and they're going to be tailored and personalized to the individual that receives them. My simplified definition is that process automation is about software that increases the efficiency of marketing, reducing time and costs while increasing personalisation and productivity. If a piece of software is doing it, it's going to solve your time involvement. It will reduce your time involvement. You might be very involved in setting it up, and that obviously takes time, and then getting the first run to take place, that takes time. But once that occurs, if you've got the right piece of software, it starts to happen automatically and without you getting actively involved. So here are 4 applications of process automation. The first is email marketing, which we've touched on before, targeting the right people with the right message at the right time with the right frequency. So you can specify which audience gets it, you can personalize the message so they get the right message, you can set the time, and you can set the frequency with which that message goes out, and then know that this will simply occur. Very, very powerful. Email marketing can be very time consuming. It's still one of the most commonly used and most effective forms of communication for organisations like local governments and business in general. But it tends not to work well these days where it's not personalised and customised. People get so many emails that if you don't personalise it, if you don't customise the subject line, it's not going to work effectively. You're just not going to get the opening rates. And business and marketing automation allows you to do that personalisation and customisation. It can be about lead nurturing or inquiry nurturing in your case, engaging prospects or people that link up with you to develop a relationship that drives sales. For example, somebody might say, I'm interested in a development that the local government's doing, and I'd like regular updates. So the software, so their name can go into the automation, and they can receive regular updates that are personalised to them. They can also respond to those updates and provide you with feedback on their thoughts and their ideas. You can embed surveys, or you can embed forms for them to fill out in the material sent to them. And that way you're nurturing a relationship with them. You're not just hitting them once and then maybe again when you have time. You can tell the system to hit them with an update, once every 3 weeks, and all you need to do then is provide the base data that provides that update. And you'll know that it's all personalised. Social media management, it helps you to understand it can help you to understand what social media is you should be using, what social media comments are being made about your local government on. It helps you to target the right social media. It can help you target the messages, what social media should get what messages. It can post, it can monitor the effectiveness of that social media and help you share it and get it out as wide as possible. And SEO and digital advertising is also an area where automation can help, identifying keywords, tailoring content, and website tracking. So that's really all the key digital communication tasks that can be addressed by way of this software. And I'll touch on all 4 of them again. And just to make the point, which I will emphasise again, I'm not talking about a software package. We're not vendors of software, and there are many packages out there. And I'll talk to you towards the end of the presentation on how to find the right one for you. So some basic email marketing platforms. There's MailChimp, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with MailChimp. It's one of many very simple basic email packages that it facilitates targeting, customization, and provides reasonably good statistics on opening rates, who read it, how frequently they read your newsletters, and all of that kind of stuff. It's really worth having a look at MailChimp if you haven't already used it. It is to email marketing, I guess, what SurveyMonkey is to surveys. It's a pretty standardized but very useful product. There's Customer.io, which facilitates messaging, targeting customers and encouraging interaction with your business. And there's Deliverer, which maximises customer. So it focuses more on the engagement, offering help with SMS, email, and drip campaigns. MailChimp, the best of my knowledge, really only focuses on email, whereas Deliverer also deals with SMS and facilitates drip campaigns. That is the ongoing messaging, the nurturing, the ongoing engagement. These are 3 of maybe 20 email marketing platforms out there. If you want to know some more, just email me after the webinar, and I'll tell you. But you'll generally find them if you search email marketing automation, you'll come up with a number of them. And the sorts of things those 3 platforms facilitate is segmentation and batching of emails. That is, different messages to different groups of people, and the personalisation of those messages, making sure each person is addressed by name, and perhaps even some of the content is tailored to them personally. Behavioural trigger email marketing, that is where if somebody does X, then they get an email. If they make an inquiry, they get an email. If they visit the website, they get an email. And it's a standardised email, but doesn't look standardised because it's personalised. And mobile optimisation, ensuring that mobile content is optimal. A really big thing in digital marketing now is, of course, the use of mobile devices. About 60% of people now research products on a digital device rather than on a desktop, product, services, and issues in general. And about 25% of all online purchases now are made on mobile devices. So one of the things we've got to get our heads around is that the desktop is probably on the way out as the principal, at least, form of digital communication. It's important. It will remain important for a long time, but mobile phones and tablets are becoming more important. Lead or inquiry nurturing. This is where we go about the process of developing relationships with people. Three of the perhaps 15 or 20 packages available there. One's Opt-in Monster. It integrates with all major email marketing and CRM platforms, so it fits in with your current CRM platform if you have one, and makes it easier to capture, share, and manage leads. So it identifies those people you should be focusing on and should be trying to communicate with, and then allows you to facilitate customer communication with them and fine-tune that into a personalised format. Pipeline Deals combines lead management or inquiry management with sales tracking, email content management, and data from CRM. So again, this combines with your CRM and allows you to target people with personalised messaging on an ongoing basis. And again, ideal for something like a project and keeping people up to date to where a project is at, or changes in rules and regulations, or if there's a controversy and people are getting hot under the collar about some initiative the local government's involved in. It's a good way of providing with regular updates and providing with positive information tailored to different sectors. You know, where different sectors are looking for a different thing out of the initiative. And Aweber works primarily as an autoresponder and email marketing platform, connecting apps, tools for lead nurturing. So if somebody comes to your website and indicates an interest, it will automatically respond to them either by email or by SMS or by both. It's also useful for things like the bushfires and using lead nurturing, using mobile devices. It also links in to applications if you're using any. These are just three, again, of 10 or 15 available. A lot of the email packages also do lead nurturing. These do as well, but it is a separate issue. When I talk about email, I talk about hitting somebody once with a key message, whereas lead nurturing or inquiry nurturing is about developing a relationship with them. The three sort of areas where lead or inquiry nurturing help are database marketing for precise behaviour targeting. That is, people who behave in a particular way, who have done a particular action, perhaps visited your website, perhaps visited an app. They can get an automatic response. They can be put into the database, and then they can be responded to in a personalised way. Drip campaigns, that is sending stuff on a regular, ongoing basis without having to get personally involved. You just type in the message and it gets personalised and sent off. And task alerts, notifying, cutting down manual processes, like if somebody visits your website, then sending them an email, or if somebody lodges an inquiry with a keyword in it, instead of having to send them a detailed response yourself, it sends them an automatic response to save you the time and the effort. Social media is another important area, as we noted earlier. Three of the programs there are listed here. Again, there's perhaps 10 such programs. There's Buffer, which is a very popular one, managing accounts in social media networks, providing the means for a user to schedule posts and analyse results. So you can schedule your posts on various social media platforms and find out how many people are reading them, how many people are engaging with them, and indeed what sorts of engagement is taking place. Lead Boxer, great name, providing insights about website visitors, speed up lead qualification, and grow revenue. Perhaps the latter is less important for you, but again, it's about qualifying leads, and that perhaps should have been under the heading of website, although I understand it also does do social media, but getting your message out to the right social media platforms. Marketo, software which helps marketers automate marketing and engages customers and sales prospects. So again, these help you manage your social media platforms and use them without having to visit each platform and get directly involved in each one each day. So it's posting and scheduling, manage social media posts, social listening, which is about finding out what is being said on various social media platforms. Very useful when there's a controversy going on. What is being said, who is being said it, who's saying it, and when you need to get involved. And social interactions. It helps to then send those people information. So if somebody's making comments on social media, then they can, that's a behavioural response, then it can send them an email if they're already in the database, which can update them personally on something that they've said or something they might be interested in. Again, saving you the time and effort to do so. Then there's SEO and digital marketing. There is perhaps half a dozen programs that will help you with that. Ahrefs highlights what parts of your website requires improvement to help you ensure your best ranking. So it goes through your website and helps you identify what is and isn't working and how to fine tune it to make sure you get maximum return from the investment in that site. KW Finder helps find long tail keywords that have a lower level of competition. In other words, it helps you find keywords that will bring people to your site where those keywords are not words that everybody else is using. Very effective in trying to drag traffic to your website. It then tells you those words and enables you to build those words into your site. And finally, there's HubSpot. I've mentioned before, it's one of their products. Forms, it involves forms, pop-ups, live chat for lead capture, sends emails, pipes data into your CRM, and analyses visitor behaviour. So why were those people analysed, sent to your website? What pages of your website did they visit, etc., etc. So again, this helps to make SEO, which is a very complex task, and digital marketing just that much easier by automating some of the tasks and providing with better quality information. I've dealt with a lot of SEO consultants and a lot of digital marketing consultants, and my experience is most of them are not worth the time of day. Some are extremely good, but most of them are all talk and no delivery. If you've had that experience, engaging some of these social media platforms might help. Vin's just asked, are any of your local governments already using any of this software? Look, I don't know, Vin. I imagine some of them are. They're certainly using the email software packages like MailChimp and the like. I haven't actually spent a lot of time talking to local government about marketing automation in the past. Most of my efforts in this area have been directed at the private sector, where it is used by about half, a bit more than half of businesses, and the take-up, as I've said in the early stats, is starting to increase fairly significantly. It's also used by a number of government agencies. So the SEO and digital marketing software helps you to personalise customer targeting, directing advertising at the right individuals, not just placing it generally. It helps you with account-based marketing, multi-channel target engagement, and it helps you with organic and paid search. Getting back to Vin's question about other local governments using it, I imagine that any local government that sends out bushfire warnings and the like are using some form of digital automation. Perhaps a simple form, perhaps not. Marketing analytics automation. So the process is about how we do it. That's what we've talked about today. What this is about is gathering the data which helps us to do it better. To me, as a decision maker, this is far more important. Trying to cut costs, automation of processes is more important. Increasing productivity, automation of processes are more important. But in terms of making the right decisions and maximising your return on investment, The analytics are really where it's at. SAS, which is perhaps one of the biggest operators in this area, says that marketing automation enables an organisation to use the customer and operational data to design more effective campaigns and lead nurturing efforts. It allows you to make more informed decisions across any channel, email, social media, and websites. In other words, it tells you who is engaging with you, how often they engage with you, and in what ways they're engaging with you. And this, of course, helps you then to focus on those you want to focus on and ignore those you don't want to focus on. Mixpanel defines analytics automation as automating the process of marketing analytics, the practice of collecting and measuring marketing data to improve the performance of a website or app, or indeed any aspect of marketing or digital marketing, digital marketing in particular. Again, it's about gathering the data so you know who is responding, how they're responding, how often they respond, and how you might tailor your campaign. So my simple definition is that software automation is the assembly and analysis of data and converting that data into knowledge that facilitates decision making. My idea of the ideal analytics automation software is one that provides you with a dashboard and says, and most of them do these days. Certainly think the simple ones like MailChimp have some very simple dashboards, but they tell you who opened it, how frequently they opened your email, and all on one page. So you can say, well, that's where I need to target, that's where I need to put more effort. That's simply not working. We need to find an alternative way of communicating with those people because they're not opening our emails. Perhaps we need to use SMS. Perhaps we need to use some other form of communication. And it's about facilitating and gathering an analysis of volumes of light and dark data to drive knowledge-based decision-making. Light and dark data, the light data is stuff which is we all talk about all the time. Who opened the email? How many times do they open my emails? How many times do they visit my website? That kind of data that we're all familiar with. Dark data is data which is not as often talked about and not as often accessed. You know, and whilst it's a digression a little, an oil rig, for example, has 10,000 data points. Good business software allows them to bring all of that data from those 10,000 points onto a single dashboard, which makes it more accessible by an individual. Obviously, nobody can go through each of the 10,000 data points and say what's going on. This allows them to bring all that data into one dashboard so they can make decisions on the basis of that data, presenting the data in a way that enables decisions. And there are many, many points from which data can be gathered. You know, the number of people walking through the door, which can be monitored, of course, and that can be brought into your data set. The number of people visiting your website, that can be brought into your data set. The number of people using the apps, that can be brought into the data set. The number of people reading the newsletter, that can be brought into the data set, and so on. It goes, and all of that data can be brought together and then presented in a way that allows you to make decisions with it. So basically, automation of data or data analytics is about understanding, identifying and developing an understanding of the target audiences. You know, who's reading it, what are they reading, who's visiting my website, what pages are they going to, how long are they staying there, that sort of thing. Tracking and monitoring, understanding the actions of individual users within a website application or platform, sort of links into the understanding. A/B testing, it allows you to do 2 emails, for example, and find out which has the better effect. It allows you to do 20 emails and work out which one has a greater opening rate, a greater readership rate, and the like. So it allows you to test, digital advertising. Which one got the most clicks, which one got the least clicks, which one drove the most people to the website, which one didn't, and so on. It allows you to measure the effectiveness of a landing page. How many people came to the landing page? What icons did they click on? what information did they actually seek, and gives you an insight then into how you might address that. And in terms of digital marketing, some of the most common SEO tools, some of the most common digital automation tools are SEO tools, giving you insights that allow you to know what keywords to use and what phrases to use in your search engine optimization. In my experience, the technology often does a better job than the consultants you might talk to. Social media tools that allows you what's being read and what's being said and what's working for us. SEM tools, if you're using search engine marketing, what's working for you and what's not working for you, where should you place it. Digital advertising tools and predictive scoring platforms. So it helps you predict what might be the outcome of a mail out you're about to do, of a digital campaign you're about to do, or a change you're likely to make to your website. Some of the common digital automation or analytics automation packages available. HubSpot, again, an online marketing system that brings all marketing efforts together to increase traffic and conversions. The Nielsen Marketing Cloud enables brands to connect more deeply with customers by combining Nielsen data, their own data, analytics, market and media planning, so you can bring all their data and bring it into your own data to develop a better picture of where you should be communicating and how you should be communicating. So they can bring their data into your data set. Mixpanel, again, provides tools and answers to essential questions like, what is the user doing? Are users coming back? Do users drop off? Why are they dropping off? And who are your users? So it develops that understanding. The message, a message from Joe Bryant saying, I'm in York, so pretty small LGA. Look, I think things like MailChimp, for example, and SurveyMonkey are relevant to an organisation of one person. The size of the organisation really isn't the issue. And some of these ones we're talking about here are quite expensive, but the process automation tools you'll find are really inexpensive, and a lot of them set their pricing at a user level. So, for example, MailChimp, it costs nothing up to 2,000 people on your database. It costs, X up to 5,000. It costs X plus up to 10,000. So the small organisations might get the use of the tool free or at a very small cost, where large organisations can pay a much higher cost. Yeah, from Annie, MailChimp is very good for newsletters. There are more sophisticated systems, but look, I really think MailChimp's pretty good. And Annie says she's also using an SMS system for emergency alerts, and that's right. That's also digital automation. And Sprout is another one, enabling brands to simplify social media, benchmark competitions, track hashtags, which is a really interesting one, gauge customer engagement, and much more. So these are tools that help you get the data you need to make good decisions. Generally, the tools that provide a lot of analysis or a lot of detailed analysis are a little more expensive than the ones that simply automate processes. Having said that, a lot of packages do both. In fact, an enormous number do both. And a lot of them have that charging system where if you use a little, you only pay a little. If you use a lot, you pay a lot. And generally, I find all of these products to be really cost effective. I want to touch briefly now on machine learning. Again, I'll tell you what the experts say. In this case, expert systems. Machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence that provides systems with the ability to automatically learn and improve from experiences without being explicitly programmed. Machine learning focuses on the development of computer programs that access data and use it to learn for themselves. In other words, machine learning is about gathering this data we've been talking about and actually drawing conclusions on the basis of that data so that you don't have to. And drawing really analytical conclusions objective conclusions without any sentiment, emotion, or anything else. SAS, again, defines machine learning as a method of data analysis. It automates the analytical model building. In other words, it does what those other programs I've just talked about do. It is a branch of artificial intelligence based on the idea that systems can learn from data, identify patterns, which is really important. It can find patterns in your data. It can say to you, for example, if you communicate south of the river, it's going to be more effective than communicating north of the river. If you communicate with people under 25, you're getting a better result than if you communicate with people over 50. People under 25 are responding much better to WhatsApp or SMS. People over 50 are responding much better to email or whatever. But it gives you that data and helps to interpret that data and actually not just tell you how many responses, but who's responding and where the patterns lie in that. And again, minimises human intervention. My definition, and of course, my definitions are always the best. Automated gathering and analysis of light and dark data using software incorporating algorithms that convert data into knowledge. And that's really what it's about. It's about processing the data for you. What we're talking about data analysis is gathering data and presenting it for you. Machine learning has taken another step and then processing that data and actually making decisions for you, which you can accept or reject at will, but it does actually make the decisions for you. So machine learning involves all of these things: data mining, going into existing data and finding patterns, developing algorithms that can do it on a repetitive basis, helps you to categorize groups, it helps you to learn more about groups, and the other elements perhaps don't apply quite so much in this environment. But it adds a level of sophistication. Some stats on this: 57% of executives say that the greatest benefit of machine learning will be improving customer experience and support. It's used more and more in terms of customer experience, finding out what the customer is responding positively to and negatively to. For example, putting CCTV cameras in a waiting area and finding where customers sit, what they engage with and what they don't engage with, and gathering that data and using that data to help you make better decisions about how you plan the area. Monitoring traffic through a park or through a shopping area, bringing all that data together and then processing that data to show you the patterns that might be emerging, so that you don't have to, so it doesn't get down to really guesswork. 58% of tracking the 50% are tackling the most challenging marketing problems with machine learning, prioritising personalised customer care and product development. In other words, they're learning more about the individuals so that we can tailor the communication and the product to individuals rather than broader groups. And improving demand focus forecasting. So who is going to buy this? Who is going to do this? Assortment efficiency and pricing in the retail market, which is less important to you. Having the potential to deliver a 2% improvement in EBIT, a 20% stock reduction, and 2 million fewer product returns a year. So the last point is about specifically about an e-commerce environment where you might sell something online and you have a return rate. By learning what people are going to respond to, reduces that return rate. It just gives you a profile and understanding of the individuals, gathering all of the available data to help you make better decisions. I've got a link there which you can go and learn a bit more about these stats and about the background information. I've just got another note here which I might just have a look at. Excuse me a moment. For those customers who are digitally illiterate, don't even have a computer, can marketing automation software generate written communication that can be sent by snail mail? Yes, it can, because you can instruct the automation to print out a letter and then put it in an envelope and post it to them. So yes, it can. That's a simple answer to that, and it will personalise to the same level it will with an email. What you don't get in that way is the analysis. You don't get the same understanding of who's actually opening the letter and reading the letter and those kind of things, although you can put something on the letter to encourage people to respond, but the process can be as automated, but the data you get back is not as automated. It also, of course, as I said, allows you to use SMS, WhatsApp, and those kinds of facilities. Most people now, about 98% of adults now have a smartphone. And while they may not use WhatsApp, and I'll grant you there is a market out there that doesn't use things like WhatsApp, most of them are now using SMS. So it can help you use that platform. But sure, it will work for snail mail. Good question. So what is machine learning all about, or what can it help with? Enhancing the customer experience so you can learn about how customers are moving, how they're responding, and improve their experience in a physical environment, using cameras, counters. We have a counter in this building which digitally counts the number of mobile phones that moves along. We're on a corner on both streets, so we know exactly how many people. Oh well, we know how many people with a mobile phone at least are moving up and down those streets. We don't record the numbers. We're not trying to cure the coronavirus, but we do track the number of people, so we know what traffic flows are. We know which direction the traffic is flowing in, and we can use that data. Interestingly, that data goes from the device in the building to a machine learning organisation in the Netherlands, and then comes back to us as a dashboard. Developing models to reduce customer churn, customer turnover, or people are not engaging with you anymore. Can be machine learning can help you understand who is likely to churn and who's not likely to churn. Optimizing pricing, it helps you to work out what pricing might be optimal, might get the best response. Better focusing demand by market segment. Where's the demand going to come from? Where should we focus our communication effort? Where the interest come from, in your case, perhaps, rather than demand. Developing superior cross-selling and upselling strategies. Again, perhaps less important to local government, but if somebody's bought something, how likely are they to buy another product? Or if they've used one piece of infrastructure, how likely are they to use another piece of infrastructure? And what could we add to that to increase utilisation? Developing superior repeat business and referral strategies, a bit of what I was just saying, but how do we get people to engage over and over again? And who is most likely to engage over again? And what makes them want to engage over and over again? Again, machine learning can help with all of those, particularly where the platform you've got brings in external data like Nielsen or like Department of Planning data or whatever else you have access to. And redesigning the customer journey and process. It can help you redesign the way you go about things by telling you how people respond. I'll move quickly now because I know that we're running out of time. I said 45 minutes and I've been going 53. I can talk. There's 4 examples of machine learning software packages. The simplest, of course, is Grammarly. Some of you probably use Grammarly. It is much simpler than the other 3 that I've mentioned there. But if you want an idea of how machine learning works, use Grammarly. It will just improve the way you write. And it makes decisions about a better way of saying what you're saying, and you can accept or reject those decisions. But it's a sort of an insight into how machine learning works. Importio, Unmetric, and Cortex are other examples of machine learning packages. How do you get started on machine learning? We'll document work activities and flows. This is about the automation of processes. You've got to document the activities and flow, identify repetitive processes you'd like to stop human beings doing, and then review the options available. Go online and say, well, these are repetitive processes, sending out the monthly newsletter. What software does that? We can advise you on that, or you can find out online. And then document a strategy. Start simple and go complex. So buy something like MailChimp. get it working. Then buy something like SurveyMonkey and get it working well for you. Then look at something like the HubSpot software packages and get that working. Don't do it all at once. Take it on a step-by-step basis. That's and as I'm sending you a copy, you can go through this later. But this is a map of what an interaction with customer process might look like, and often that's how complex they are. But once you've got a map like that, then you can start to say, well, this is a repetitive task. This takes a lot of human resources. Can I automate that task? And you can. Then in terms of the data, the analysis automation, document the key decisions you need to make, identify the data that's available for making those decisions, then look at the options for bringing that data together, particularly into a dashboard if possible, and then again, document a strategy. And again, I've got a process here for how you might go about that. You can study that in detail in your own time. So in summary, automating it's about automating marketing processes and about automating analytics. And machine learning is an important consideration too. It will save time and money. It will increase efficiency and productivity, and through data will help you make much better decisions. Most of them are really simple to use, and I think that's something to bear in mind. I might have made them sound more complex than they are. They're really simple. Whilst I use this kind of software a lot, I'm not a technology person. So if they're not simple to use, then I have as many problems as anybody else. They are simple to use. They're generally not expensive. Some are even free if you're using them on a low-level basis initially. And there's 100+ packages available. It's really important that you understand your processes, understand the decisions that you need to make day to day, and look at the software options that are available for you. Look, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have along the way or discuss anything further. Please feel free to email me or ring me. I'm happy to respond to questions that you might have. I'm keen that you get an understanding of this and you get some value out of this 57 minutes so far. You're also welcome to visit my website. You'll find perhaps some useful information there. You should also think about visiting dqaustralia.com. That's www.dqaustralia.com, where you'll get a lot of useful information on marketing automation. The next webinar in this series is entitled Maximising Website Traffic and Engagement. We will certainly touch on automation, but there'll be other subjects involved in that too. But how do you get the most number of people to your website? And more importantly, how do you get them to spend time there and really understand the information you're providing them in a way that will reduce verbal inquiries or counter inquiries and really make them more engaged with what you're doing? Again, this has been sponsored by me, DQ Australia, and of course, those great people at the local government professionals. Thanks very much for your participation today. I will be sending a copy of this presentation out before the end of the day. I hope you found it interesting, at least. Sorry I had to rush at the end, but I know some of you are on time constraints. Thanks, Penny. Thanks, Vin. Thank you, Samantha. And Annie. Have a great day, all of you. Jeff, thank you. Thanks, Vanessa.